we'd like to say thank you to Tori again for joining us on the Fantasy GM podcast. Tori and I will be having our matchup in week 4, and I mean, I'm hoping that I can win, but as you heard, Tori's team is pretty formidable. So all you listeners out there, send me your best wishes, and let's hope that we can topple our league villain. Grant, think that there was a new winner of our weekly high score prize.
Yeah.
Care to take that away?
I wonder who that was.
I wonder too.
Maybe somebody with the profile of, I can't even, what do I want to be with Grant Alexander Hamilton? Alexander Grantmilton. But it was me, motherfucker. It's me. High score of the week. That's right. $10 richer, $10 poorer. I had a side bet with Derek in a different league that I've lost $10 to him too, but easy come, easy go. I appreciated it. I never thought it was going to be me. Never thought it was going to be me last week. But, I'm feeling real brotherly. That's why, this week for the cast, I put on the infamous Alpha Alpha Chi 20th anniversary.
Oh, wow. That's
bang, bang.
It's crisp.
Throwback, right?
Yeah, it was fucking mad crisp.
Yeah, it looks mad crisp.
Tough to keep a white T-shirt crisp for this long, but I stashed that away. I may have fluctuated weight up and down since I got it, so we're not wearing it a lot. But I mean, it felt real good. I think this is my first. We only started doing the $10 weekly winner last year, right?
Last year, yep.
Yeah, I think this is the first time I've caught it over the course of. Shit, I don't even think I made the playoffs last year, unfortunately. So it's got to be like 15 weeks into the game before I got it. So, happy about that. I think that's like, it's made me feel really good coming into this week. It's made me feel really good about my squad and its prospects coming up next. And, maybe that's why ESPN has been so nice to me in the projections and bumping me up into the 2-hole. I'm not going to get too big-headed about that. But, again, I feel like our segues are butter here on the pod, and this just slides me right into another brand new segment that we want to bring to you guys this week, and I call it the Beatdown of the Week. And again, it's me, the Brooklyn Brimstoners, the fan of alliteration. That's right, your favorite host of the pod, Grant Cologne, beating down David Croft's Team Croft. Again, we talked about this earlier when Tori was here. If you didn't change your team name, son, either you're a ringer or you're fucking trash. And Team Croft apparently is on the trash side of that shit this past week, son. I rang up a $156 and almost in a half against him to 89. Basically ran him out the building by 60+. Biggest beatdown of the week, highest score of the week. First beatdown of the week on the pod goes to me. Thank you, and you're welcome.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on your winnings of this week. I know that you have. Let's see, who are you facing? This week. Oh, another ringer team, Team Wood. So
right. Team Wood. At least Team Wood has like a logo that looks like a piece of wood, and it's like otherwise a noun. It can be used as a team's name. It can be bringing the wood or something like that.
Right.
But, before I talk about how I'm going to bring the wood to Team Wood, I'm going to recap real quick the beatdown of the week, right? So, I mean, coming out the gates, I think probably one of the most surprising fantasy players of this year. Everyone wanted to read off Aaron Rodgers, right? Rodgers threw up 30 for me in week 3. Gotta love to see that. I caught a big 25er from the defense when the Bucks held down and fucking smashed the Broncos or whatever was going on over there last week. I caught that 23.7 from Keenan Allen. We saw a little resurgence of Keenan Allen. So if you want him or you want to sell him, it seems like a good week to do both those things this week. And everyone else came to play. I'm pretty excited about that, man. Nick Chubb put up another 20-pointer for me. And on the other side, it was basically the absolute opposite for David. Brady came out, showed out for him, almost matched Rodgers with almost a 30-pointer. Austin Eckler had a bunch of catches last week, put up 25 for him. Will Lutz put up 13 for him. Nobody else broke 10. Vikings gave him a -2. And, that's how you end up on the wrong side of the beatdown of the week.
Facts. 100%. Jeez, yeah, that's a big margin. That's a big margin.
Yeah, me versus Lockwood going into next week. It's it's even in the projections. Maybe not the tightest projection we got yet that we'll talk about in a second, but ESPN's currently got me in the lead, 112-109. Not a huge fan of the ESPN projections, but you can take it as like take it with a grain of salt. It's at least like directional. Maybe you're really behind or maybe really ahead. You might be able to get to that, but this is basically saying it's a wash. It's within the what do they say about the polls?
Within the margin of error.
Right, within the margin of error. Thank you, Manny. So I'm hoping that Rodgers keeps rolling. Looks like Lockwood's bringing out the Gardner Minshew train. They got him as his highest projected scorer, so I like to see that. Did not do his thing last week for us, so
No,
I guess he's got Breezy on the bench, so I have to assume he's going to put Breezy in. Then again, Gardner's playing Cincinnati. You never know. That's an option for him. I see that he's currently starting Adrian Peterson. Pretty happy about that. He's starting Preston Williams. Also happy about that. So I mean, I'm liking my feel. I'm liking it in right here. I'm gonna agree with ESPN. I'm definitely feeling like I'm marching towards the playoffs.
Yeah, I think your team. Excuse me. I think your team is solid. Definitely think it should win this week.
Thank you.
Definitely should win this week. Last week we had Chris on the show, and Chris and I had a matchup that I was confident. I felt that I said that the matchup would come down to Monday night. I said that it didn't matter what happened. The rest of the week it would come down to Monday night. And sure enough, it came down to Monday night. And all I had a lead going into that game. And I needed just Lamar Jackson just to have a decent game and have Patrick Mahomes not have the game he had. And Patrick Mahomes had the game he had, almost scored 50 points in the league. And
First time I seen this, goddamn.
Yeah, had 50 points, came back, and secured a victory. He'd actually texted me and was like, "Well, it's over for me. You won." I was like, "No, never, ever say you're out of a matchup if you have Patrick Mahomes still to play." And Patrick Mahomes showed up. We highlighted that in the NFL section of the podcast of the game that he had. So, no shame.
Sorry, man.
Yeah, I have no shame losing. There's no shame in losing to Chris. Like I said, he's two-time champion like myself. So no shame in losing to him. But if Lamar Jackson had just had even a standard Lamar Jackson game, it would have been enough to win. So not too concerned about the team's prospects. I'm more concerned about it this week with the COVID stuff than I am about it long term.
Yeah, I mean, did anyone ever feel good about losing to the Giants throughout Eli Manning's runs? I feel like you still always thought you had a chance going in there that he was going to throw some picks. But, I mean, if there was reason to feel salty about losing to Chris last week, my man started Chris Hogan in the flex.
It's Hogan at flex.
Lionel, without looking at it, do you know what team Chris Hogan is on?
Absolutely not. I just know he's a white dude.
Thank you. I forgot he was on the Jets, and I root for the Jets, son. I didn't even know he was on the Jets. He also caught a 1.9-point game from Malcolm Brown, son.
Yeah.
And he still was able to manage the W.
Just rode Patrick Mahomes. You can ride Patrick Mahomes by himself can win you a title. I mean, he did that for Chris. He did it for Chris. He's done that for Chris. He did it for Chris 2 years ago. So, it's a tough pill. I hate losing in this way. Whereas I think Chris's team, I don't know. I think he has he's going to make the playoffs, I think, but you can't be starting Chris Hogan and going to get away with it. He's going to get punished by the fantasy gods at some point. Yep.
Definitely tempting the gods by throwing Chris Hogan in your lineup ever. Could be a 20-team league, dog. Come on. I didn't even know he was in the game still.
And Grant, I know there's a couple of other matchups that you said you wanted to highlight.
Yeah, man. Just real quick here, hitting you with some quick hitters. I would say that the closest matchup of last week was another one of our anonymous teams, Team Ross versus the Wakanda Mambas. JT versus David was a 105.5, 102.5 victory for Wakanda. In a barn burner. They both had a pretty even matchup, even though your man JT started Steven Sims Jr. in the flex for less than a point.
Oh my God. And the Bills defense gave him nothing.
And the Bills defense for no points. But, I mean, it evened out a little bit from the stinker you got from Darren Waller after he had the breakout in week 2.
Yeah.
David's team is solid. JT's at 0-3. Traded away good pieces for Leonard Fournette. So I'm not feeling real excited about his squad. He probably got top tier type results here from Allen Robinson and Michael Gallup. So, at least the Gallup move for him paid off in that first week. Can't be mad at that. But also has Brashard Perryman still on his roster, who's been out for this week, not currently in his IR slot, not taking advantage of the rules. Got to pay attention out there, folks. Fantasy football is like 75% paying attention, dog. And the other one, I think that was probably maybe one of our better games of the week, just from the quality of the team standpoints. I know we came out there in the demo and we killed Jared and we brought the fucking African funeral to his crib and all that. But Jared's up 3-0, man. The curse has been lifted maybe. And he took down my LB by 20, basically 137.5 to 115.5. Bennie went down, dropped to 1-2. Jared got big weeks from James Conner coming back, put up 22. Huge week from the Colts defense going against the Jets, throwing up 29 on the board. Solid game from a pickup, Mike Davis, how much did he spend on Mike Davis on the fab?
In the 30s, I want to say, because he spent, or it may have been in the 40s, because he spent 33 on Willie Snead and then 40-something on Mike Davis, I think.
I was about to say, not quite Willie Snead money. Willie Snead came back with a 1.4 for him last week after getting that, after someone made it rain on him. But, yeah, got to give respect to Jared for that, man. I'm still not afraid to play his team, but he's 3-0 and I'm not, so can't be mad at that.
Yeah. He lost Christian McCaffrey, so that's probably why he went big on Mike Davis.
Exactly. But how much money does Jared have left for Fab for the rest of the year now?
I think he has like $1.
I think he's got zero.
You got nothing?
$0.
Ooh.
I mean, that means he gets to go to sleep early on Tuesdays now, so you don't even need to worry about the waivers. He can only come for crumbs. So I mean, that's the trade-off of being 3-0.
Yeah. Oof. That's sad. He's gonna have to rely on $0 players for the rest of the year. That's a tough way to go and it's only week 4.
It's only week 4.
Right. We're not even a third of the way through the regular season.
Yeah. But he is 3-0, so as long as his
less
team,
competition for the rest of us.
Yeah. As long as his team at this point stays healthy, he has a really solid squad. Once Christian McCaffrey comes back, he'll be starting Cam Newton, James Conner, Christian McCaffrey, Tyreek Hill, Tyler Boyd. His tight end situation is whatever. Henderson. Yeah. I mean, of course, there are stronger teams, but this team's not bad. It should make the playoffs. It should.
Yeah, I mean, after you go 3-0 to start in a 14 team, you gotta. If you don't make the playoffs, you know what's coming, Jared. But I think that those were all of our interesting matchups to recap from last week. I know we talked a little bit about Torrey versus Manny coming up here in week 4. I think another interesting game we got on the slate coming up is two folks looking at things from different sides of the coin. I think we got, ESPN with the closest projection going into next week for two of my pro fights. Chris Evans, live wire, going against Archie 02, the Lyrical Lexicon. Chris is coming in 3-0 after getting that victory against Manny last week. Archie, on the other end of the Michael Thomas trade, staring up from the basement at 0-3. ESPN's got this as a 2-point game right now. What are you thinking, Lionel?
Archie, what was you doing? Oh my God. I don't know. I think that Archie only deserves bad things to happen to him after.
I hate you. I hate you. I don't even know you, and I hate your guts. I hope all the bad things in life happen to you and nobody else but you.
And I love Archie. I do, but like, you know, I feel like once Michael Thomas comes back, we're gonna forget about like the 2 to 4 weeks that he missed. So it's gonna be tough. But I think that I think it's gonna be close. You know, the projection loves like, you know, doing that stuff about like making sure that we're interested and pay attention to the numbers. But like Archie has Jonathan Taylor, I will say that, and I think that that's like still a hard hitter. And Josh Jacobs, again, I smashed Archie last week, and I went against like very low scoring games against both of those running backs. Probably don't expect that to happen again a week again back to back. However, Chris does have James Robinson, who may help cancel out a little bit of that work. And then Devontae Freeman, who knows what's going to happen right there, right? Chris is easily winning, I would say. Like Metcalf, compared to, he's the only receiver that matters of the 4 that they have starting right now in their lineups.
Facts.
No disrespect to AJ Green, who I love, but like, you know, where is he? We haven't seen him in like 3 years.
Father time.
Yeah. Chris got the pro tip move though. He's got Julio hiding in the flex since Julio's playing Monday night.
Yep.
If he's playing this week.
If he's playing, right.
Yeah. Now, I will say I respect Archie for actually spending $48 and starting the player he spent $48 on in the waivers.
Jumping out the window for Justin Jefferson, excuse me. Yeah, I mean, he basically traded Mike Thomas straight up for Sammy Watkins and then didn't play him against you.
And then realized, like, literally $48 on Justin Jefferson, that's Archie admitting he was wrong. Let's be real. Right.
Yeah. If you were just going to bench Mike Thomas for 1 week, why wouldn't you just keep him?
Just keep him. Yeah, I didn't understand that at all.
Archie 02? What the fuck is you doing? Yeah, man. But I think it's going to be another good week across the league, man. I'm excited. I want to get to it. Archie also has that Minnesota-Houston game for Justin Jefferson, so like maybe they play, maybe they don't. Same thing with Fuller on Chris's side. You know, so we got to see how this COVID situation shakes out. You got to hope that all the folks that are actually physically impacted by the catching it are going to make it out okay. We don't want to see anything bad happen to folks, even though we're talking about our fantastical lives here on the pod. But, you know, it's going to be another good week. It's definitely, you know, you go down 0-4, then you got to start thinking about next year. Who's he going to keep on this team? Who are you going to get off his team?
Yeah, facts. He could start thinking about making trades for keeper value. He could think of a lot of different things. However, I mean, you know, in this league, you can make the playoffs at 7-6. So, I mean, it's actually happened every year. 7-6 team has gotten in. So, and there's 7 playoff teams. So,
right.
Is there a certain concept that's like tanking in fantasy in terms of like, you know, you're out of it? It's like trade your studs for keeper players.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the whole right. One of the advantages of keepers is that you can keep some of these teams who may not have playoff aspirations involved as you move through the season, right? Because maybe they're making a next year forward-looking trade. Like I said, you know, when Torrey was on, man, the other league, like, of course, yeah, I'm gonna sell you Melvin Gordon and someone else because I'm not making it to the league, and give me that Godwin, give me that Chubb going into next year, you know. So I think that's quietly, you know, again, we run the line of giving away the secret sauce here since the league mates listen to this part, but you got to keep the keeper part as a factor in your trades there, man. You can't just be trading away Aaron Jones for $3 keeper status going into the next year for fucking nothing, for guys you can't even keep.
Yeah.
All right, yo. I mean, I think that wraps it for the infamous section of this week's pod. And we're going to check back with you after week 4 wraps and see who's the new beatdown of the week next week.
Sounds good. I like that. Well, that concludes another episode of the Fantasy GM podcast. Another one in the books, fellas. We did it. Week 4 coming up.
Brooklyn, we made it.
Week 4 of the NFL is upon us, and if you're 3-0, congratulations, you're in a good spot. Don't get complacent. However, it's a long fantasy season. If you're 0-3, it's not over yet. You definitely need to win this week, but it's not over for you. Don't let someone come in and try to lowball you on a deal saying, oh, you're 0-3, you need this to, help you make the playoffs. Just go out here, make your best roster lineups and get a win this week.
Yeah, man. So I think this week we're going to ride out to another little something that I got lined up for you guys. I think I'm going to take us to Philly, my adopted, somewhat hometown, coming out from the burbs. Do it a little bit for that. Maybe hit us for a little for Jared, hitting 3-0, even though he's really from South Jersey. And hit you with some Freezer Freeway. She make me feel all right. So I'm feeling pretty all right now this week at 2-1 with the beatdown of the week. We end this thing. Fantasy GM podcast. We out. See you next week.
Bye.
She likes something out of Max soon. The real swimsuit issue. Told her I miss you, I'll be back soon. Hold the spot down until I'm back home. Her girlfriend's downstairs, her little nephew in the back room. But I don't mind cause she on a job and shit. Drive a nigga wild when she slide the knob and shit. Throw it back when I hit her from behind every time. That's why I had to make her all mine, yeah. She makes me feel alright, she do. She makes me feel alright, she do. She makes me feel alright, she do. She makes me feel alright. I had plenty chicks, big booty ones, skinny chicks. Spanish mommies that don't hardly speak the language. She always yelling Bobby Chulo while we at it. Then she asked me if she teach me Spanish, will I teach her English? Don't be ridiculous, you know I teach her. She said, who's Peacher? What that mean? Whose ding-a-ling is this? I told her get it right, it's yours. Her Gucci so tight, every time I hit it, hit walls. Hit it all night, hit it more in the morning. Flew a ring like a kite, even hit it on tour. Hit it on the sofa, hit it on the floor. But told my new chick a Gucci not addictive like yours. Right on, Freezer get his nighty-night on. After I beat it up, she put me to sleep like s'mores. Like snores, then she wake me up the back rubs. And I'm back up, finna beat it up once more. And once more, Freezer was once a whore. Now she got me locked, push approach, shock and all. She hit the supermarket and food shop and all. Then she taught me all, swallowed the whole cock and all, yeah. She makes me feel alright, she do. She makes me feel alright, yeah, she do. She makes me feel alright, she do. She makes me feel alright. I think I like it cause she make me laugh, make me smile. Go to her at me cause she know she got that snapper pow. Oh, you don't know about that snapper pow? That's the action that pull you back in when you backing out. She grabbed the burner, said she thugging out. She said, you think we gon' be Ike and Tina Turner? Boy, you bugging out. I told her I love you, I never hit you. The suffering your coochie in your mouth. She said, cut it out. We acting out, playing cat and mouse. I still snap, she come to the flat unannounced. Unless it's trench coat, no clothes underneath. She hold me down, stash O's at her mother's house and her brother's house. We maintain it. She said I ain't complaining, but you need to find another route. I said another route. She said, yeah, nigga, another route, another way for you to gain payment. This is so heinous, it's a shame, ain't it? I still had to move them things when I became famous. I got my babe with me, and we're a game changing. We about to tear up the lane, you better clear it out. She makes me feel alright, she do. She makes me feel alright, she do. She makes me feel alright, she do. She makes me feel alright. Woo! Okay. Freezer. man, niggas. Y'all know. You know what I'm saying? You see Barack, you see got Michelle in the background. You know what I mean? You see it's going down, we doing it real big. You know what I mean? That's how it's going down this year.